gentlemen, and welcome back to Weed on Wrestling. I am your host, Alan, and we went live yesterday. Everything is online, posted. The start of something. I don't know if it's special, but sometimes I think I am. Today, what we're talking about, other than the fact that we just went live, and I'm pretty excited about that. Everything online. Find us on Spreaker Radio, your iTunes, YouTube, Twitter. Weed on Wrestling is the handle. Just search it. I'm there. You can find me. Weed on Wrestling. And kicking off today's podcast, Weed on Wrestling, talking about NXT. The NXT action that just happened last night, March 1st, I believe. What is today anyway? Today the 2nd? Yeah, today's the 2nd, so it happened last night, March 1st. Alright, take it. Get ready to do this. Kicking off the show. Shitty commentary. That's what kicked off the show, shitty commentary. As always now. I mean, now that Corey Graves has left for greener pastures and moved on with his career, he doesn't have time for NXT anymore, which I understand it. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Mr. Instagram. Good old Tom Phillips. He is talented, but now every time I hear his voice, I can't help but laugh at his stupidity. I mean, what? Anyway, that's getting off topic. This ain't that kind of podcast, and I hate drama, so let's move on and focus on the finer things in life, which is professional, sweaty men rolling around with each other on a mat. Wrestling. Alright. Kicks off the actual show with, quite frankly, a throwaway match. Didn't mean anything. It was between Baby Uso, Sean Malta, or Maluda, whatever his name is, and some new dude, Patrick Clark, who is the blatantest rip-off of Prince that I've ever seen. Like, he's a Prince-type character. I think he's supposed to be gay, but I don't quite know what they're going for, what the angle on that one is. Anyway, I thought Baby Uso brother was on 205 Live. I thought he was. He was better in this match. He looks good. He's got solid in-ring ability. He just lacks the charisma. And now I understand why he's spending his time in NXT. You need development of a character, of charisma, of mic skills maybe, because we haven't heard him talk yet. Now, on the flip side, though, where do I even begin with Patrick Clark? Oh, God, I need to take a hit for this one. This one's bad. Alright, it doesn't sell. He lacks in-ring ability. Shitty character with nowhere to go. And are you serious that his finisher is a variation of the Fame-asser? Fuck you, WWE. Oh, you got a gay character. Now all of a sudden you gotta base it off of another gay character, which was badass Billy Gunn for a little while, and his move was the Fame-asser. Can't come up with anything original on that. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like him, and you can't make me like him. There's no potential there. Maybe there's potential in his in-ring ability. Give him a new character. Don't make him as flamboyant, something like that. Maybe that's good. But what you're doing with him now just isn't working. It isn't working at all. After the match, I'm more into seeing after. Okay, let me rephrase this. After the match was over, I'm sitting there thinking I would much rather see more character development on the Mini Uso, the Samoan family dude, Maluda. I want to see where he goes. He's not a bad jobber you got there, NXT. I mean, if you're going to continue jobbing him out week in and week out, that ain't a bad way to do it. He's good. He's got in-ring ability, and that's what's going to make him into that next superstar is because he's got family heritage. History's there. I mean, you got something there. Sean Maluda is good. I'll give him that. Moving on a little bit forward through the episode of NXT and we come to Sanity. Come on. Sanity is a blatant ripoff. Again, with the ripoffs, this is kind of where the theme's going with this show. A blatant ripoff of the Wyatt family that is a blatant ripoff of the old ministry or the brood or whatever you want to call it. Ministry of Darkness, the corporate ministry, whatever the fuck it was. It's the same old recycled shit over and over again. You have a dark character, so all of a sudden they're possessed by the devil and they're a demon. Fuck you. Come up with something original. And while we're on the topic of saying fuck you to those two Australian bitches, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Well, I mean I would, but it's different. I would definitely throw down, but that's completely different because they're fucking hot. But this match, this Asuka match versus Peyton Royce. Let's talk about it for a few seconds, a few minutes, if you will. Just on their entrance alone, did you hear the difference in the crowd reaction? The differences in the distinction between their intros. Between Asuka and Peyton Royce, there was no comparison. Asuka is a one-of-a-kind superstar. No woman comes close to her in-ring ability, her persona, and everything that goes along with her, except maybe Charlotte Flair right now. I want to see a Charlotte Flair-Asuka match. That's what I want to see. But instead, I'm sitting here supposed to believe that this newbie bag of bones, Peyton Royce, is going to go toe-to-toe with the greatness that is Asuka. Just listen to the crowd. They know what's up. Asuka's gonna kill you. Asuka's gonna kill you. And that's exactly what happened in the match. In the actual match, it was decent pacing. A few botches here and there, but that's to be expected when you're dealing with Peyton Royce. She's so slow at everything that she does. And it was just boring when she was in charge of that pacing. And then at the end, just the Asuka lock out of nowhere. You knew it all along. Asuka wins. And of course, the other bitch has to get involved as well, Billie Kay. But here's my question. She was down there the whole time. She was right there at ringside. She came down with Peyton Royce. So why did she wait until after the match to get involved? Riddle me that, Batman, if you can. Why wait until Asuka wins to then jump her? All you're doing then is just doing it for storyline purposes, and I get it. You're trying to push Ember Moon, but do it after Asuka's already called up. Or, here's ideal scenario, ideal situation of how to deal with Asuka moving up to the main roster. You don't want to end her streak. You don't want her to go out with a blemish on her record. So why not put her in a match with Ember Moon and make it an amazing match? Just in one of those epic matches that last 30 minutes or whatever the Iron Woman matches are. And them two could put it on. Ember Moon versus Asuka could put on a great match. But have Asuka win. Have her retain. And she then, after she retains, she realizes that there's nothing more for her to prove in NXT. She relinquishes her belt. What I would do, the symbology there, is have her relinquish it to Ember Moon. But I know that can't happen. You can't just give somebody a belt. So she's going to give it back to William Regal or whoever. And then they'll have a tournament. And that's where you go with the women's tournament, developmental and everything like that with NXT. You move up Asuka. And it would be a more fitting way to write her off, as if kind of to say, here, Asuka, ride off into the sunset, no blemishes on your record, and have one great last match to prove your dominance in a nearly impossible to be dominant sport. Entertainment franchise, whatever you call it. But that's just my personal humble opinion on the matter, but that's because I have a deep investment in Asuka. Me personally, I believe she's one of the greatest working wrestlers today. Men, women, whatever, she's one of the greatest. Her in-ring ability can only be compared to men. And that's being truthful. We have not seen a wrestler like her in the women's division ever. I'll say it again. We have not seen a women's wrestler like Asuka in the women's division ever. Move her up. Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, WrestleMania next year. I personally want to see that match. Fuck it. Make it WrestleMania this year. She's ready. Charlotte needs a good partner because she's going to run through Bayley this weekend. But I'm getting off topic. I have a tendency to do that, so let's reel it back in. Asuka retained. She beat Peyton Royce. Moving on with the show. We seen the women's division champion, so of course we had to see the men's division champion. They're not competing, but we had to show a package on them. So now we have Cassius Ohno versus Bobby Roode, huh? It's the best we got. Nakamura injured. Party Dude ain't ready for the main card yet, so this is the best we have in NXT for our NXT championship. Alright, buckle up, bitches. It's going to be a bumpy couple of months, because if this is the best we have to offer, it's going to suck for a little while, but I guess I'll just roll with it. I mean, fuck it, I'm still going to watch. But, oh, how I missed the NXT of about 2 years ago. I miss the entertainers. I miss the storytelling. I miss the art there, the magic, the writers, for fuck's sake. Oh, well. I'll keep tuning in every single week. I mean, fuck it. I started this shit. I might as well keep going. Now, shifting gears. Wolfgang, old Wolfie himself from the UK tournament, coming over to NXT. I like this idea. I really like this idea. I liked him in the tournament. Thought he got kind of a bad deal, but let's see where this can go. Let's see where the momentum can take us. Because I think he's almost a main storyliner. You got to put him in with the Rude, with the Cassius Ohnos, with the Nakamura if he comes back. He enters the picture frame. Speaking of Nakamura, here's my question. Here's my question for NXT, because it's a self-defeating program. Once a competitor gets talented enough to move up, their services are no longer needed in NXT. It's a developmental phase. That's what it's supposed to be there for. About 2 years ago, Nakamura headlined one of the biggest wrestling matches ever in the history of mankind, but yet he's still in developmental. The person that he competed against is in the main storyline for the championship on SmackDown Live for the WWE Championship. Former WWE Champion and future WWE Champion AJ Styles. What's the difference? Both in-ring abilities are on par with one another. Mike's skills, yeah, you gotta hand it to AJ, but that's only because he speaks English. Move up Nakamura. Why have him come back to NXT? His injury that he just suffered is a great way to let real life write the script for you. Let his injury be the reason that he does move up. Make it be that culmination of everything coming together and him coming to the realization that, hey, he may not get another chance. He doesn't know how much longer he can go, so we better make the most of it right now. Have it be that kind of mentality with Nakamura. Give him a fucking manager if you're worried about how he speaks. But it's better than letting him suffer down in NXT. I just don't understand why keep superstars held down.